Hi everyone. Hey, I thought I would get on here and talk to you about the new unit that we're getting ready to study this week. Um, I'm having a little bit of trouble with my camera tonight, so bear with me. First off, though, I want to thank you for essay number 2. Those essays were so nice, and I continually appreciate your investing so much of your brain power and as well as your emotional attachment to the topics that we're writing about. Uh, Believe me when I tell you that doesn't always happen, but when writers do that, the pieces are so much more enjoyable to read, and I'm just so grateful because the essays have been a delight to look at this semester, and so thank you for that. Um, Okay, well, I said I was going to talk about this new unit, so I better get to it. So, the broad theme of the selections that we'll be looking at in the next couple weeks, I've just labeled as language, power, and identity. What you're going to find, though, is that the reading selections are linked by the theme of education, or more specifically, education in terms of gaining language skills. Well, go figure that an English teacher is going to ask you to read those sorts of things. But not just because I'm an English teacher, but because I and millions of other people like me have taken on this topic and have really thought about what is it that people need in order to be successful. And time and again, uh, what we arrive at is basic literacies, which of course includes reading and writing and numeracy skills, but definitely includes some other kinds of things, and especially some attitudes that embrace the power of learning and learn to see the intensity or the potential. And I know you folks are going to be a great audience for that because you are already there. You've enrolled in college because you want to do something different from what you have been doing. And then I guess I could go ahead and say because you want to be someone different from who you have been in the past. And so if you didn't embrace or believe in the power of education, the power of learning, more specifically the power of language, you wouldn't be where you are. Um, so I look forward then to seeing what you do with the essays that we read from the text, as well as what you do at the end of the unit when you write your own essay. Well, you'll before I talk a little about some of those essays, I want to also say you're going to see a change in the type of essay that gets assigned this time. So let me kind of recount for you. Aside from the diagnostic essay, your first essay was a piece that asked you to write a vivid, descriptive narrative. You didn't have to look outside your own brain, you just had to dig into your brain, your memories, and your powers of observation to write. Essay number 2 asks you to layer in one source and use that source as somehow support for the position you were taking and engage in a conversation with the writer of that source. So this next essay, essay number 3, is going to build on that. You're going to actually be asked to use 2 sources or more, and you'll notice that when you begin using 2 sources or more, it doesn't mean that there's not room for your own personal experience and your own personal observations. It doesn't mean that at all. But it means then the conversation that you create as you're interacting with the material in these sources is very different. It'll take on a different tone and a different sort of purpose. So, okay, well, be prepared or be ready for that. And then on the screen before you, I have the reading assignments for this week, and I want to talk about those just very briefly. They are different in length and they're different in purpose. Jonathan Kozel, in his The Human Cost of an Illiterate Society, is more traditionally scholarly in his study, and you'll see that immediately. He is employing both quantitative and qualitative research to try to think about what's at stake for people who do not have access or do not take advantage of access to gain those reading, writing, and numeracy skills that are so vital for success in the 21st century. Now, Michael Kinsley's very different. His essay is very short, and he's not, well, he's earnest, but his earnestness takes on a different form. He's very sarcastic, and in that level of sarcasm, he challenges all of us to look at what we call education, to question our opinions, and honestly to move away from the assumption that I'm an American, I have a right to my views, if our views are not informed and if we don't take opportunity to educate ourselves on topics that matter. So, well, that's what we're in for, and so I don't want to talk too long, but I look forward to this new unit with you, and thank you again for your successful completion of Unit 2. Okay?